Hi, it's Dan Hare from Music Cal Entertainment. Today I'm happy to have as my guests identical twins, Ava and Lily, a talented and inspirational group from Prince Edward Island. We'll get some insights today from their musical path so far and their future career in the music scene in Canada. Thanks for joining me today, Ava and Lily. How are you?
Great.
Good.
Thank you so much for having us.
Good. Well, we appreciate it. Appreciate you coming on. And I did a bit of research on you and I looked at the history and stuff. So maybe we'll start with that first, if that's okay, and do sort of a chronology and talk about your history. You're from Charlottetown, PEI. That's where you're born?
Yes, born and
Born.
raised.
Good. And identical twins, of course. And you grew up in the music business, it looks like. Lots of music around you.
Yeah, a lot of musical inspiration for sure. We're in the studio right now, as you can see.
Yeah, I could see. Nice. Yeah. And so you had some family influences, and I want to talk about your great-grandfather, but it's a long line of musical family. So your great-grandfather was Charlie Chamberlain, the singer for Don Messer. And any of us who are older, of course, Don Messer's Jubilee was a big deal in Canada on CBC. So tell me about that and what you recollect or what you were told about that.
Yeah, so that is pretty an honor to be his great-grandchild. So Charlie Chamberlain, like you said, was with Don Messer and the Islanders, and he was the singer. So he had this big, powerful, belting-like voice.
Nice.
So we watched a couple of those episodes more recently, I would say, and it's pretty cool just seeing, how he just fits in with the band so well, and he uses that power of a voice. And Lily picked up fiddle, kind of the traditional side.
Yeah, definitely. And really, like, being older now, we're 21 years old, so now we really see the value in having just music on both sides of our family, because we were always told when we were younger about Charlie Chamberlain, but never really understood where that fits in for our lives.
Right.
So
yeah, and it's part of your personal history, and then of course a musical legacy. But you never got to know him or meet him. You just saw him and heard the stories, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then, of course, fast forwarding, your dad was a very successful musician with the band Haywire, so you grew up around that. So you really grew up in the music business or experiencing that.
Yeah, we grew up going to all of his shows and, seeing the band, meeting the band. Even last summer we were at a show, and for me and Ava, we know our father as just our dad, not
Right.
the guy in Haywire. So when we go to these shows, people approach us and they're like, "Do you know the band? Can you get this shirt signed? Can you get these things signed?"
Like, could we get your photo? Can we get a picture with you?
That's great.
So
I love it.
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So that, I guess that influenced you. It's funny because some people have different aspirations. A kid might look at a plane in the sky and go, yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to fly. And for me, it was always, I would see people playing music and I'm going, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. Was that similar to your experience?
100%, yeah.
Definitely, yeah. We just grew up seeing him on the stage, and we knew from a very young age that we wanted to do the same thing.
It's interesting because you have some stars who have had kids that went on to music, and I guess it cuts both ways, right? I mean, you appreciate the influence and the opportunity, but you also have to forge your own path, right? You have to find your audience, and that's your path now. So how have you diverged from that, or how has that worked out?
That's been quite the thing, actually. It's really cool because I feel like we don't have just one age group that listens to our music right now. We have a lot of, parents will bring their kids who are like 7, 8 years old to our shows, and then you'll get everybody from their age group to the same age as my grandparents. So you'll get some 70-year-olds sitting in the audience as well. And we really try to make our music so that everyone can enjoy it. So it's not, just our age group enjoying it. It's a bonus, of course, if they do, which is great. But yeah, we really love just all the age groups being able to come enjoy some.
Well, no, that's a great point because, when I was going to ask you about the East Coast element, but, a lot of times that music came out of what they would call kitchen music. Where everybody plays, grandpa plays the fiddle and the kids play, and you just pick up an instrument and you start playing it. And there's a lot of great music that grew out of that kitchen music, and then it is broad in its appeal because everybody loves it. It's family music.
Yeah, well, from being on the East Coast and growing up in this environment, it's definitely a whole bunch of traditional, fiddle music. Country is a big thing here on the East Coast.
Yeah, and we grew up with those kitchen parties as well, a bunch of family reunions, and
Yeah.
people get out the spoons and start singing
Yeah.
tambourines. Yeah, very fun.
Well, and the reason I like that is because, you often think of traditional music lessons, but some of the best music grows out of, well, try the fiddle, see if you can play it, make a melody, and then pick up a guitar. And a lot of the music it's fun, and then you learn the technical part of it, but that sort of comes after almost, right? You're learning how to create a feel with your music.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's great. And so you guys, you sing, you play guitar, piano, mandolin, fiddle, banjo. I saw one clip where you're playing the banjo.
Yeah.
Do you tune it like a banjo, or is it a gitanjo?
It's actually, it's a ganjo,
A ganjo.
a
Okay.
guitar-styled banjo. Yeah.
That's cool though. It's so
Yeah. Lil used that a couple times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
no,
audience
it's-
always loves it when we pull that out. So
well. It's kind of a neat thing, but again, it's just about being musical and just having music sort of emit from your body. It's not the traditional like my mom was a classical pianist, and that was just like another homework assignment for them. They'd learn their scales and everything, but it was very unfun. She ended up quitting playing. She didn't even enjoy it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
But it's just
very
too
important.
harsh.
Yeah, it's important to keep your passion kind of separate from, a work type thing, because I feel like you enjoy it so much more if it's kind of an escape from reality for a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And the feel part of it, that's the part that I like, the kitchen music, the family music, the interaction between the communities and bringing joy to people with your music. I mean, that's what it was about. So the Acadian music or the Celtic music or the East Coast music, you must have been influenced by all of that.
100%. Everything from traditional to rock and roll, we've been, introduced to and inspired by.
Oh, I think that's great. And so PEI isn't exactly a mecca for music. What's the music scene like there?
We have a great music scene here. We're a part of Music PEI, they're called.
Good.
So they
Nice.
help grow developing artists, and they, they get us in front of certain people, and they put on showcases. And yeah, they're great to be a part of.
yeah, we actually won an award a couple years ago for upcoming artist. So that was such a privilege too, because just being in that room with all these talented people from the East Coast, a part of
Yeah.
our music scene, it was just really nice to be acknowledged for our music as well.
Well, and that speaks more to the community aspect of it as well. You started performing very young, right? What was your first live performance? How old were you?
We were 9 when we
9, okay.
performed, yeah, for the
Nice.
first time, but we were singing since we were in our high chairs, and we've been
Yes.
playing, musical instruments since we were 7.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Very nice. Well, that's similar to me. I just loved music, but the people are very, I don't want to say forgiving, but they're very ingratiating. Like, if the fact that you want to sing and you've got the chutzpah to get up there and do it, and it's good. You're encouraged, right? You must have had a lot of people encouraging you along the way.
100%, yeah.
Yeah. And so how do you categorize your music now? I noticed on the Canadian Music Spotlight, for example, they describe you as country pop electronic. And I thought it's hard to nail down like what you want to be and what you are. How do you deal with that?
It is difficult to narrow it down. I know right now in our lives we're directed more towards the pop electronic world right
Okay.
now.
Yeah.
And so we still love country music. We have, thousands of country songs in our
Of course, yeah.
back pocket. Yeah, but right now we're just having fun experiencing with different synth patterns and different electronic beats, and we're having a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, good. Well, I guess that's the part of it, right? So you take the legacy and you take your experience and of course all the influences and the kitchen music and everything, and then you forge your own path, which you need to do. I mean, you're not just replicating what's already been done. You have to find a new way. And then I was wondering about the songs that you write and your approach, because some artists, especially the newer artists now, they chase hit songs, right? Like, I need to write hit songs. And then other artists are like, you know what? I'm just going to be true to my music and write songs that I feel in my heart that I think people will relate to. So how do you balance that out?
I think the more you write is the the best thing you can do, because you have to write the bad songs to get to the good songs, right? You're not just gonna write a hit overnight. So we just write because we love it. It's our favorite thing to do. So sometimes, I'll bring a song idea to Ava and say, can you help me develop this one? Or vice versa. Or, I'll write a full song myself. Ava will write a full song herself. And we'll just come together and write one from scratch. But I don't think we put pressure on ourselves to write a hit song.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever sat down and been like, okay, let's write a hit, pop song, hit country song. But it's just kind of, we take our life experiences and how we're feeling in that moment. And that's usually what creates the most beautiful type of song. It's just being true, like you said, true to yourself and just putting your heart out on your sleeve. And the song usually just writes itself.
Yeah, I guess it sounds like maybe a lesser point, but I think it's an important one because artists want to be artists, and you want to write from your heart and write things like the true singer-songwriter, which is what you're trying to be or what you are. But the commercial side of it says, hey, I need to cut it, wrap it, and freeze it here. I need to sell these. Like, you got to get me something. So you look at a Taylor Swift. I mean, she's been really brilliant at both of those things, but the commercial aspect has been a really important part of it. Or a Beyonce, or just take any artist. They need to have songs that have a really high commercial appeal.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I know an artist that we really look up to is Tate McRae right now, and she's extremely, electronic pop, and she's the type of artist that reminds me of like what you were saying. She's got the hits, but also if you listen to one of her ballads, it's just her heart poured out on her sleeve.
Right.
And as musicians, we love to hear those type of songs.
Well, that's what lasts, right? That's what gives you the longevity. You look at how many songs come out and they're 6 months, they got a shelf life, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Everybody goes, oh, this is pretty cool. We listened to it that summer, and then it goes away. But it's the heart songs, the classics that stick around.
Exactly.
That's so true, yeah.
So, yeah, and one guy I talked to, one famous songwriter, said that try to write anthems. Because the anthems will last for a very long time. Because when people hear them, when you write a Hey Jude or a Let It Be or something, like everyone, I don't care how old you are, you hear Let It Be, and it's like, okay, I'm in.
Singing.
Everyone's singing. So if you can write songs like that, you have the longevity there. And you guys have had some pretty good success already. I mean, you're young, but you're growing, and you've had some great success. So I see in the family legacy, you had a great article in 2017 on the family and the family legacy. Was that your first real notoriety, or did you have some other stuff happen before that?
Our newspaper here has been very good to Lily and I. So we've always had articles written up and just kind of, what's on the go right now. Any music that's been coming out or that's going to be released. Our radio stations too have been extremely helpful.
Nice.
So yeah, we just, anytime there's something new going on, we'll sometimes knock on the door and be like, hey, this is going on. Are you interested in, doing an interview? So.
Oh, good for you. Oh, that's great. I mean, you need that. And again, that goes back to the community aspect of it. Like, you want people that are rooting for you, that want you to succeed, that are going to help you succeed. And that's really nice to hear. And then your experience, of course, I have to ask you about the Nickelodeon experience, because you got to go down to the States, and I guess you went to LA. Is that right?
Yeah.
I did, yeah.
Hollywood. It was pretty exciting.
And that must have been coming at you at 100 miles an hour. How was that?
Yeah, no, that was a surreal experience. I remember the audition process, and we had a producer reach out to us and ask if we were interested in the show and if we would like to audition.
We thought it was a scam too at first. Like, you weren't expecting it to be real.
Yeah. And we said, yes, we're interested. And we sent videos back and forth, had a couple Zoom calls. And then before you know it, we were on the flight heading to Hollywood. And being 15 years old, it was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But no, it was life-changing. It was beautiful.
Well, it was great, though. I thought you guys came across really well. And it was strong. So how many times did you take it? Like, are those first takes, or did you recut some of that stuff?
It was really cool because the musical performance itself was one take.
Okay.
But when it was the scenes where it showed who moved on to the next round and who won, they actually shot that scene a few times.
Okay.
So, you know, we knew who was making it to the next round, but then they would do it a couple times and be like, okay, be like this, you know, hug your sister. Like,
Right.
so we had to act a little bit in that sense. Which
Right.
was
Fair
pretty
enough.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of the reality shows are not, they're sort of scripted reality sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which you got to see the behind the scenes there. But the Lady Antebellum song you did came across really well. And then you did X's and O's. That was cool.
Thank you so much.
No, it was good. I thought it was great. And again, great experience and great exposure. So what did you take from that experience mostly?
One of the things, do you want to go first or?
Sure. I just took that whole experience just really opened up my eyes to how much I love doing this and how much I love performing. And I just went home thinking like this is all I want to do, and we worked so much harder, wrote so many songs.
Oh, good.
I think we really took a turn too with our songwriting after that experience. So it was very positive for me.
I would agree. For me, I tend to be kind of competitive in certain situations. So after that experience, the competitive side in me kind of kicked in, and I felt like, you know what, there's a lot of people who are trying to do the same thing that we're trying to do. And I just wanted to become all the more, you know, stronger with my vocals, with my range, with my playing. I picked up drums. I just wanted to become a better overall musician. So I feel like that was probably a great takeaway for me as well, knowing that there's a whole bunch of people trying to do the same thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And that's a good word, because when you go and put yourself in, you know, a pressure cooker, I mean, there was a lot of pressure on you guys. You're young and you're there and you're in a different universe. Then I would ask, you know, are you more inclined to step up or more inclined to step off? Because some people would just not like, I know entertainers that just said, you know, I get too nervous. I didn't like it. I didn't like the feeling. And other people are like, you know what, I'm going for it.
Mm-hmm.
So sounds like you landed on that side.
You did. It's
Good
nice
for you.
too because we have each other on the stage with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of like it's just nice to be able to look at each other and keep the momentum going
Yeah.
on the stage. So I think that helps.
Yeah, it's funny because years ago I was a commentator on a TV show, and I was kind of out of my element a little bit, especially at the beginning. And they just said, you know, talk to the camera like it's your best friend. You know, just treat the camera and treat the people like they're your best friend, and you'll be fine. And I thought it was really good advice, you know, because that's really what if you're a genuine person and you're genuinely trying to emit this wonderful music, that's really what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
No, that's great advice.
Yeah.
It got me through a few nervous, you know, because nervousness can throw you off sometimes. So that's what I noticed about you guys. Like the one commentator, I think it was Debbie Gibson or somebody, said that you seemed a bit nervous at first. I didn't really notice that myself. I mean, intensity can be mistaken for nervousness. You're trying to give her, like you're trying to put it out, right?
Eagerness, yeah. No, I wouldn't say that we were too nervous. I think we were very adrenaline rushed.
Yeah.
Because we've been waiting for that moment, you know, forever. So we just wanted to, like you said, just give it our all and, you know, show what we could do.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
yeah,
good.
no, all the judges were so kind, and they were awesome
Yeah.
backstage too, and they would give us, you know, advice and just to keep going and keep working. So that was a really neat experience.
No, that's nice to hear. And then, so you placed high in there. You didn't win, obviously, but it was a win anyways, because the fact that you were there and you got through to the next round was great for your career and your experience.
Yeah, I think our island was extremely, you know, proud, because it's one thing to get on one of those shows, which is, it's crazy, especially for a small community here.
Yeah.
But then to have made it through, and yeah, it was a very proud moment for sure, and very eye-opening.
Good. And again, you did a good job, because most people, especially being as young as you were, it's a lot of pressure. Right? A lot of, okay, now's the rubber hits the road. And then in 2023, I see you won the PEI's New Artist of the Year award. How was that? Tell me a little bit about that.
That was such a great experience for us because we wrote that song strictly ourselves and, you know, really believed in this raw song that we wrote called Silver Car. And I remember that year we went there again. We weren't expecting to win because it was, our first song we kind of put in to see if we could get an award. And we told our whole family to stay home. So, our parents were like, do you want us to come? We were like, no, come next year, because we weren't expecting it.
Yeah.
And then we went there together and they called our names.
You would drive me home, I saw it in your eyes. Then I knew you were with her that night. But I showed that smile you would always compliment. Your words made our tables turn. Then I let the two of us burn. Your necklace in my drawer, your pictures on the floor. It only makes it worse. 'Cause I miss the way you used to steal me deep in the night. Your silver car and sneaking out, though it wasn't right. And I miss the sound of you calling out my phone at 8 a.m. Yeah, I can't sleep 'cause I remember it's not like that. It's not like that. No. It's not like that, babe.
I always used to say, like, having made a living in the music business for my whole life and my whole adult life, I take my victories where I can get them. Anytime you get a gig where you get some money or you get some recognition, that's a victory.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure.
And then your video, I Won, I watched that. That's great. So what I noticed about that was last year, right? Or 2023 that came out.
Yes.
So what I noticed about that is, you start out as young girls, and then I guess there's sort of 3 phases in life. There's the girl phase, and then the young woman phase, and then the mature woman phase. And I could see in that video you've transitioned to the young woman phase, right? So are you less girlish, I guess, and more young womanish now?
I would say so. I think with I Won especially, that was the type of song that we didn't think was gonna get released. Like, that was written, after a really hard breakup and just the depth, of that hurt. So that wasn't meant to be for anybody's ears. And we really wanted in the video to resemble like just the type of song that we believed that it was. And I do feel like it came across, it was to be a more serious video in a sense. But I would definitely say that we've moved into the young woman phase just with our experiences and our different song styles and tastes. And yeah.
Numb with conversation, looks of interrogation over at me. So I shoot it back. Knew you stole my sunrise. Now I watch the sun die. It'll return, but I won't be back. You said it's all my fault, why you drove away at all. And I feel like an idiot, 'cause we've seen this all before. But still it's not enough for me to diss the love we felt, though your foot is out the door. I don't hate you like I should do, so it's easy to move on. I wish that my feelings were lost, so I feel like I won. I hate all your thoughts in my mind, but you're locked on your tongue. When will I feel like I won?
Taylor Swift makes a living off of 13-year-old girls, obviously. That's the bulk of her audience, and you don't want to lose that. But the young woman phase, I think, from my perspective, is a better phase in the sense that it's more appealing. Like, you don't want to be the cute kid, right? You want to be a serious entertainer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You want to be looked at as a businesswoman rather than, just a,
Cute girl
another
trying to do
performer.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it
it's
is-
true. Yeah.
Yeah, it is surprising though, because with that song too, it was shifted more towards our age group, of course, but we we were performing a couple months ago, and there was this, I want to say she was about 7 years old, and her mom came up, and her mom was like, she really wants you to do I Won. And we were like, okay, sure. Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, that came across well. And then Wish You Well. I saw the lyric video. You have a lyric video on that. That's super smooth, nice melody, great production. You record, your dad does the recording for you?
Yes, he does. So we did some of the producing at our house, actually, on GarageBand. So some of our ideas, we kind of build it there first. And
The skeleton.
And then we'll bring them here, and then Dad will just help us bring it to life.
3 months since we two last spoke. 3 years in thought our love rose. Starting to miss you here with me. You lit up smiling company. 4 days you dial my phone. Red light colored, my lips cold. Every promise is erased. I could see it on your face. It was love till you changed into someone I never knew. Did you mean that you need me? Never gonna leave me. Was that night I felt mistaken for help? Did you mean when you saw me to hold on to my body? Was it a regret? From what I could tell, I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. I wish you well. From what I could tell, I wish you well.
The Nickelodeon show said that you sound like Dolly Parton, and you do have that high range and the trilly vibrato and stuff, and that works for you guys. Are you doing the more chesty tone? Are you adjusting that in some way, or was that a consideration?
Maybe a little bit. I think a bit it could be naturally too, just kind of going that way. We worked with a producer named Derek Hoffman out of Toronto, and he came to Prince Edward Island, so we got to work with him. And one thing he said to me that really stuck with me is he said, when you're singing, sing like you're frowning. And he said, and you don't need to sing that loud in the microphone. The microphone will pick you up, but just try to get that texture out of your voice. I think it could sound really cool.
Yeah.
So then I tried it, and then
We really liked it.
So we just kind of stuck with that style.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I didn't think it was a criticism, I guess, is how I'd say. Like no one would tell Dolly how to sing. She's Dolly, and she can sing however she wants. And the same applies to you, right? If it works for you and you like that tone and the trill and the higher register voice, that's perfectly legitimate. I think adding some air, like the old, I always tell we've had a number of female singers through, and I always tell them to listen to the black female Motown artists.
Okay.
Because they're the ones that have that chesty, beautiful, and when they sing high, it's full and rich and smooth. And they've just got those silky voices. So that's where I get the inspiration from. If you want to add a little breath to it and add a little more chest to it, it's not that hard to do. But your tone is your tone, and it sounds fine to me. I thought it came across great.
Amazing, thank you.
That's great advice, though.
Yeah, so that was good too. So you've got some stuff on there. And then tell me about this animated TV show, your Dill Pickles and Pickles. What's that all about?
Yeah.
See, I'm laughing already. I don't even know what it is. I think it's great.
Yeah, it's a new children's show that
cool.
just came out. And like you said, I play Dill Pickle. Lily plays Pickle.
Yeah, and we had an audition for it, and
Cool.
we heard that they were putting this audition on, and heard that they needed twin pickles. So we were like, okay,
Twin Pickles.
Let's go see.
yeah, we'll go see if anything comes out of it. And yeah, it was a really cool experience because we were the voices for these pickles, and we got to learn so much and just how they do it.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
we've never voice acted before.
No.
So we just kind of came in and we talked as high as we possibly could,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
reading the script. And I think
Some
they,
energy.
yeah, they still might have had to pitch it up a little bit.
Yeah,
But
that's funny.
no,
So
it
is that
was,
done in PEI? Is that done in Charlottetown there?
yeah, yeah, it was done right here actually in the studio.
Oh, nice. Okay, good for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, you know, it's a different experience, right? Like what I always found in the music business is that any experience I have adds to my musical flavor. So I took a stand-up comedy course one time, like twice I did it. You know, I'm not a natural comedian, but it really helped in the sense of relating to an audience and telling stories, or any experience like that can be integrated really well into your musical experience.
Yeah, it would. It would help you, I feel like, too, just being in front of people and letting yourself let loose. Because I feel like some people can have trouble just kind of, you know, being yourself and knowing that it's okay that the audience is going to laugh. It's okay that, you know, they're going to find you entertaining because that's why you're there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's funny because, again, looking back, mostly I still have lots to do, but one of the things that I would have done earlier in my career, when you get up on stage, there's this invisible wall between you and the audience, right? And it took me a lot of years to realize that and to get rid of the invisible wall. And if I could go back, I would have got rid of that invisible wall when I was a teenager. But I was too nervous, and it was just, they're there and I'm on stage and I'm not sure and you're uncertain. So you guys, to be as natural as can be and just step right through that invisible wall and just not have it. They're just people and you're doing a great job. I wish I'd have known that earlier in my life.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting because I know exactly what you're talking about. Because sometimes, yeah, you get on stage and there is something there. But yeah, I think we've worked really hard to try to build that confidence on stage and just to, you know, try to break the ice early on and make them laugh. And
Look, we took musical theater too for years and years, so
There you go.
they kind of teach you to be a bit dorky on stage and just be yourself. So
Yeah.
I feel like that really would have helped with, you know, engaging the audience.
Yeah, fair enough. And a piece of advice I got years ago too was the only time the audience is uncomfortable is when you're uncomfortable.
right.
So I know some entertainers, I mean, the building could be coming down around them and they wouldn't care. They'd be like, okay, go to the chorus. Which is a great trait, right?
Yeah.
Never let them see you sweat. So that's great. So the animated TV show, that's very cool. And have you decided to pursue a career in this? Like, is there a future? Do you plan? You got recording coming up. You got some live shows, and you're paying your dues.
Yeah. So we, with the voice acting and that type of thing, of course, we would love to do anything and everything, just all the experience we can get. Music-wise, we do have an album coming out. We'll be putting out an electronic pop album that we're
Nice.
super stoked about. Yeah, and as far as the future goes, we're still giving it our all.
Working
And
hard.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
So have you got management, record deal? Like, are you doing the whole thing? I mean, the music scene is a lot different now than when your dad was in it or than when I came up through it. But I guess some of the same things happen, right? You got to get some management. You need some kind of a record promoter or deal. You got to tour a bit. You going to do all that?
yeah. I mean, ideally, that would be great. Right now, our dad is our manager, which is awesome because
Great.
he's
Yeah.
been in the scene. He knows the industry. And so we feel very comfortable with him. And we always have our eye out on record labels. Those are tricky, so you got to make sure you're with the right one that fits you. And yeah, I think of course we would love to tour anytime and all the time.
Yeah.
We went to New York and Toronto a bit, so
Yeah.
we have gotten off island and we've toured around the Maritimes, but we'd love
Networked with some people.
yeah, networked, but we'd love to go further and as far as we can.
Yeah. I guess, as I said, the music business is a different world now. So you've got to look at the online and the streaming and that sort of thing where, so take a sort of a Billie Eilish, for example, how somebody becomes a sensation kind of not overnight, I'd say, but pretty quick from the online experience. Has that been a focus for you guys, or is that your path?
Media is definitely the future and present of the music industry. We are definitely just focused on releasing music and, Spotify and Apple Music and on those platforms. And also, engaging our fans and followers on Instagram and Facebook as well. So our Facebook handle is Ava and Lily, and our Instagram handle is Ava and Lily Official. And we always post when we're doing new things and traveling and releasing new music. So I feel like for sure that's going to be the future of the music industry.
Yeah, get some traction. I mean, the old days of signing a record deal and going out on the road for, some tours, like I remember Shania Twain's book, their tour was 18 months, Bryan Adams. Like some of these bands just lived on the road, right?
Yeah, that's wild, yeah.
So that's a real sort of lifestyle commitment.
Exactly.
It is.
So I guess the most important question, now that you've got your feet wet, I would say, in the music business, you've got some experiences in that. I think the most important question that I would ask you is, what is your goal and what are you willing to sacrifice to get it? Like, what do you want? If you could wave a magic wand and have everything the way you want it, what would that look like? And what are you willing to sacrifice to get that?
If I was to, wave a wand and wow, that's a loaded question. But
Yes.
ideally I would want to tour with Lily and Canada for sure, but if not, internationally would be the ideal dream.
Go as far as we can go with our music.
And it would be to perform and have people know the lyrics to your music and scream them back at you, and to be able to relate to your music the way that you do. I feel like nothing would beat that feeling.
Yeah, and like making a difference too in people's lives. I know music, it saves lives. Music is so important in people's everyday lives, and if we could be artists that others look up to and others can relate to our music and we help them, I think we'd be doing
we're winning.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're fully committed. So you would be willing to sacrifice, let's say, having a family or post-secondary education, those kinds of things? Or is there any other aspirations you're willing to put aside to pursue this?
For sure. I feel like you look at so many people like Tegan and Sarah, like Taylor Swift, these women, they're in their 30s and they're still touring and they're still extremely successful. And I think if you're doing what you love to be doing, I just think it's a different time where you don't need to, get married by 23 or that young side. I feel like it's changed. So, only time would tell, the future would tell, but if we had the opportunity to just fly, we would take it.
Right. Okay, well, that's important because, defining your goals, I know for myself, I didn't like touring. I'm a homebody, and I just being on the road for a month or 6 weeks and stuff, I just felt like I just didn't want to be there, even though it's fun.
Mm-hmm.
But other people, I have friends that live on the road and they love it, and they love traveling. And so, and again, I guess it depends on what age you're at and where you're at in your life. But my overriding point is just that to decide where you want to go, there's going to be some sacrifices to get there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 100%.
What is it, defining your goals, as all the, life coaches and always say, what is it that you want? Like what would be a fulfilling adventure or career for you? And then, of course, how do you get it? So what is it that you really want?
I would say ideally my dream, what I would want is to be a professional songwriter for sure. And, either write songs for the biggest of the big and have them tour our songs, or have us ourselves go on tour, national or internationally. I feel like that would be just so cool, having people sing your songs back to you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Nice. Yeah, and so is it the online path, do you think, that would do that for you the most?
I think so, yeah. These days for sure, because like you said before, the industry has changed so much that you can't just go on tour, build your fan base, and you can, but not compared to the online resources that we have today.
Yeah, and all of, these huge opportunities that reach out to us, it's all through Instagram, all through Facebook. So I definitely think being online is a way that, a lot of people can see us and find us and research twin singers, and then it's right there. So it's
Yeah.
definitely a good way to get
Well, I think it's
started.
smart because, I had lots of friends. We used to call it the starvation tour, right? And they'd start in Vancouver and they'd just get in an old van and they'd play wherever and whenever all across Canada. But the thing is, nobody really cares. There's 40 people at a club on a Wednesday night and stuff. And they're going, oh, you guys are pretty good. Who cares, right? And you come home broke and tired and
Yeah.
sick of the business, right? So you can get more than that just going online for 5 minutes.
You're so
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. And especially with live streaming too, like you can get an audience right there,
Yes.
in a matter of seconds. And those are the people who want to listen to you and they want to be there. It's not just, you're at a bar and you happen to be playing and they're not appreciating it.
Yeah. So what have you got coming up? Have you got like a regular show that you do or a regular time of the week, or have you got some kind of parameters around that?
Not as of right now. Right now, we're just kind of living in the studio and
Okay.
we're getting this album, together and ready to release. And we shot a photo shoot a couple weeks ago. So we're
Nice.
going to start putting out promos and leading up
Yeah.
to the release. So after that, I could see us definitely, having a couple shows just advertising for that album.
Yeah.
But
And then around spring and summer, it usually picks up as well for
Mhm.
shows. So, yeah.
So is it mostly the duo, or do you have a full band like your dad plays with you, I guess, and you've got other people, so you have a band, like a 3-piece or 4-piece band behind you?
Yeah, we've had a piece with a drummer, ourselves, bass player, guitarist. So, we've had 6 people touring with us a bit in the Maritimes a couple summers ago. And we feel like the bandmates, they kind of filter in and out. So we have a whole bunch of
Yeah.
friends that, they can fill in for us, which is great. But the two of us as well, like we can just do an acoustic set together, which is also a really
Yeah.
cool thing.
And that's smart because really it's sort of all over the place, right? You might be at a situation where they want to hear you both sing and you both play, or it might be a full band situation. What I have found when you get into the concert situation, it needs to be a little more intense, and you need to kind of put pressure on the audience more than just sort of 2 ladies singing. How have
Yeah.
you dealt with that? You got the band that can give you some pump behind
Oh
you.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. We've put on like 2-hour shows at different theaters, and we had the privilege of selling them out as well, which was great.
Oh, nice.
And like you said,
We played at the Cavendish Beach Music Festival a couple summers back. So that's like a huge country festival here. And we were on the upcoming artist stage. So we won that slot
Yeah.
a couple years ago. And then we had a band
full
playing
band.
with us. And
Yeah.
like the whole tent, they were bopping. They loved it.
Yeah, it was neat because there was no one in the tent when we started, and it was
Yeah.
full when we left.
Yeah.
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 Well, good, because it's funny. Like as the years have gone on, I try to focus more on the feeling of the music. Right. One person said to me years ago, people remember what they saw, they remember what they heard, but mostly they remember how they felt.
Yeah.
And it always stuck with me because I thought, yeah, if you make people feel good and they go, they look at you and you're singing, and then people go, I love these people. This is great. That goes way further than how technically great your song is or anything else. It's how they feel.
Right.
You're so right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's taking a springboard off the kitchen music idea, being genuine. I find some of the artists, and even Taylor Swift, I think to a certain extent, they become sort of, I don't want to say plastic, but they become manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
you're an entity. Now you go from a who to a what.
Right.
You go from, okay, that's my girl, that's my manufactured. Now she's her own person, but it becomes more sort of plastic, like the Katy Perrys of the world, who start out wholesome and genuine and end up very. Yeah, I'm not criticizing them, but it's plastic. It's manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Yeah. It's important to stay real, through all of this, and be genuine and be a good person and not get too caught up in all the attention and I can
Yeah.
see how that would be really challenging, especially for these people that are so high up in the music industry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's important to stay true to who you are and know where you come from. And
Yeah. And sing from the heart. I mean, one of the
Yes.
best compliments I ever got, and I love to sing the Gordon Lightfoots and all those songs that really kind of get you. But this lady came up one time when I was doing a show and she said, "You're doing more than just singing." And
Oh,
that was the
wow.
best compliment. Like I could not believe. I said, "Well, I'm trying. Like I love this stuff, and I'm singing from my heart. Like that's where the magic is. The magic isn't in the technical part. It's here."
Yeah.
And the fact that someone was able to see that through you, that's amazing.
It's the best compliment in the world. People go, "Oh, you're great, or you're a great singer, great song." Yeah, okay, sure. That could apply to 1,000 people, but that feeling and the emotion that you can transfer is the most important part. So that would be as an older gentleman that's been in the music business my whole life, that's the kind of thing that I wish I'd have focused on earlier in my career. The invisible wall and the heart to heart, right? Because you're singing to hearts, you're not singing to ears.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can, and you both have a nice way about you, let's say, that sounds generic, but I think certain artists, you just look at them and you go, I like this person. Like Dolly's a perfect example. Like who doesn't love Dolly, right? Because
Right.
she has a way about her. You can't really explain what it is, but that's what where the magic is, find that way and be that way.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I hope that you can get that through online, because obviously the live shows are more conducive to that transference of emotion. But you can do it. You can do it online too. You just have to be aware of it, I guess, and try to find where the magic is there.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's a real treat to talk to you both. I appreciate it. I appreciate my good friend Cal putting this together from um, the West Coast here. I guess that's where we are out here, but he loves you guys and your music and said, hey, you need to have Ava and Lily on and talk to them. So I was really appreciate the opportunity. Many thanks to my guests, Ava and Lily, for being part of the podcast for Music Cal Entertainment and sharing some insights from their musical journey so far and the pursuit of their career in the music business. More information is available at facebook.com, Ava and Lily Official, and then the YouTube channel, Ava Lily 14. So that's available too. And you're also on Instagram. So I hope people connect with you and give you a hand from the West Coast as well.
Thank you so much.